Hey everyone, this is Richard, founder and CEO of altFINS. In this video, I will cover the latest update on the market, look at some trade opportunities in the sort of a pullback in uptrend strategy, and also do a couple of technical analyses of XRP, Doge, among others. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So in the prior video, 3 days ago, I warned about the market being overbought. In fact, there was a blog prior to that, or maybe I just mentioned it in the VIP Telegram group, that the market was getting really overbought, right? The RSI levels for most of the altcoins was getting like way out of the whack. If you look at Ethereum, right, RSI reached 87. When RSI reaches 87 or above 80, we are very overbought and due for a pullback. And so we got that in the last few days. We've seen the market pull back nicely, and I think that's a healthy correction in overall uptrend. I do think that the alt season has begun. I do think that we are in the bull market, and that we'll see continued advances in the second half of this year. As long as the Fed cooperates and we'll see some cuts in the interest rates, right? Things can change. Obviously, macro factors can weigh in as well. But overall, I think the setup is very healthy for continued bull market. So now the question obviously is, if we are in alt season, how far will the market pull back and where should I get involved? Where should I be starting to nibble and buying on some of these alts that have pulled back? I don't want to FOMO in too early, but I do want to jump in and get involved because, when you have an uptrend, typically trends have the tendency to continue. So I do want to, buy some of these dips in the uptrend. One of the ways to get started on the screener with respect to ways to find some trading ideas in this phase of the market would be to use the preset filter called Pullback in Uptrend in 1 week. What this filter does is it finds all the assets that are in an uptrend on a medium and a long-term basis, but have also pulled back at least 5% in the last week, right? So if we look at the performance now, 1 week performance, at least 5% down or more. So XRP down 10% in the last week, Hyperliquid down 5% or more, and so on. While the trend for all of these in the results of this filter are decisively in the uptrend, right? Strong up for most of these, or up at least. Now, you could relax the criteria and say, okay, I'm okay with just uptrend on the medium-term basis and get rid of the long-term uptrend. You could do that and you could get more results that way, okay? But let's stick with the original definition. So now that we found assets that are in an uptrend, right? If we want to buy assets, obviously, we want to buy assets that are in an uptrend because trend is your friend. Trade with the trend. Now that we have found those assets that are in an uptrend, now we want to take a look at the chart and analyze where is my closest support level. Where can this price find support, right? And sometimes it could be a couple of support levels or a support zone. It's not exactly clear. Oftentimes this is the exact point, and we're still taking a risk, right? I mean, even if we are buying this pullback, we might be wrong. I may be wrong. Maybe this is more than a correction. Maybe the market is not in a bull market as I think, but for now, the indications are that assets are in an uptrend. Most of them, or many of them, have broken above their 200-day moving average. When the price breaks above the 200-day moving average, that's typically a signal of a long-term uptrend as well. So I think that I have to have a view of what stage of the market we are in to be able to deploy a certain tactical or strategy. All right, so now we've got some of these results. There's XRP Ripple, obviously clearly in an uptrend. It just made an all-time high after, I think, 6 or 7 years. So it's clearly in an uptrend. Now it's pulling back, right? It got way overbought. RSI reached again 80, 85 right here. And now it's cooled off to about 60. I'm okay with that. And that's part of the filter here. The RSI has to be below 70, right? So let me extend this timeline a bit to 6 months. Okay. Now, where's the support? Well, support oftentimes is found at the prior sort of peaks or troughs in the ups and down swings. Here, you can clearly see that back in March or back even in January of last year, or if we extend the timeline even further for 1 year, there's supporting evidence even back here in December of 2024 that $3 is support level. Now, it was prior resistance level. And once resistance gets broken, it becomes support. It's a very simple principle called the polarity principle, where when resistance gets broken, it becomes support, and vice versa. If support level gets broken, it becomes resistance on the next next time the price is rising back to that level. So support and horizontal levels, they're the same level, but they change depending on where the price is, right? And if we zoom in even more here, right? In fact, let's open up this XRP here. Right, you can see the price has wicked down. You see this selling pressure here, but every time it's wicked down, it's been bought up here at around 3, right? I mean, this wick, the low was $2.96, so $3 is holding up so far. It's holding up so far. So this could very well be it clearly is a support level. Will this hold? We'll see. I mean, I think there's a good chance that it will hold this level and then swing back up to 350 or 360 for, call it 15 to 20% gain. So I would be a buyer here at $3 if it wigs down to that level again, with the anticipation that the price will bounce off of that support level will hold. Now, a stronger support level is even lower than that, but right here, 250. Right? Again, if I open up the chart, let's use the trading view chart here. Okay, right? So 250, so right here, spot where 250 is right here. 250 is about right here. Okay, so you can see this is where price got rejected. See, it was a resistance previously. It got rejected here. It broke through here, but not too long. It got rejected here. So this level acted as resistance in the past as well. And what I like about this level as well is that it also, the 250 also lines up with the 200-day moving average. And 200-day moving average can also act as a support or resistance, right? So what I may do is play a small position or place a small position here at $3, and maybe maybe the price bounces off from there and I make some money on the way up. Or if it keeps going lower, then I'll buy more at 250 and average down, if you will, right? Maybe scaling to my position gradually. Now, the other thing that you can do if you click on XRP is on our list of the 50 altcoins where we do actually a technical analysis. You can find it here under the technical analysis tab. You can also find it under the technical analysis section right here, right? And we reference this quite a bit in our VIP Telegram channel as well. But yeah, here we basically do a lot of the work for you already, where you can see where the support levels are, where the resistance levels are, and any pattern that we see, right? XRP was in a sideways channel for many months between 2 and 250 until it broke out of that. So, so this also saves you a lot of time in finding some trading ideas, right? And now our outlook is bullish. The pattern type is pullback and uptrend, and you basically have the whole trade setup explained right here in the text. So, so that's one situation. Interesting situation, I think. Hyperliquid, another one that we actually published technical analysis on, right? If you open it up, this one's trading in the rising wedge. It's also approaching support at $40, which is also the rising wedge support, dynamic support trend line. So this is an interesting area right here at about 40 to 42. All right, I mean, I would be really interested in buying it at $40. Okay, so that's the horizontal support level, as well as very close to that rising wedge support trend line. So that's another one that's interesting. And you can see it here in the chart as well. I mean, if you were to analyze it yourself, I think you could spot where, you know, the support level is here as well, right? Because, I mean, you can see the peaks here. This peak right here from this big swing up, that was around $43. So, you know, arguably, support level is somewhere between 40, 43. It's oftentimes not a level, but a zone. So, you know, anywhere between 40, 43, I think it's a good entry point for this as well. And by the way, if you make changes to these charts, you can save them as well. Next one, Stellar. Now, Stellar is a tricky one because it made such a big move here, right? I mean, 40 is also, coincidentally, 40 is also in this case a support level. But, you know, this big moves kind of worries me that this will get filled, right? This is almost like a big gap that may get filled, and we may see the price dip all the way to 30 cents or so. So this one I would not be touching yet. And let's do a couple more here. So where's, you know, for example, PEPE? Oh. Right? Where's the support area for PEPE? Well, it's around, well, this is not, let's just see, actually, I think we have also a trade setup for PEPE, technical analysis, okay? So, you know, it got rejected at, you know, 0.00014. It's pulling back, but I would be a buyer here in this support zone. Again, I really like situations where the horizontal support lines up with the 200-day moving average. That tends to be a very solid support zone. And in this case, it's around 11 and a half or so level. So I would be patient here. Hey, maybe I don't get filled. Maybe I will miss the bounce, but that's okay. You know, I don't want to FOMO in too early. Ideally, maybe if I get lucky, you know, the price pulls back to that buying zone, and it gets maybe even oversold, and it bounces from those levels, right? So gotta be patient with my entries. Let's go to the next page. I saw something interesting right here. Let's see. Next page, I think it was, right. Ether.fi, okay? So this is also a situation where where the support, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh no, okay. All right, let's just get rid of that. So this price, the support area here is around $1. By the way, those big round numbers like $1, $10, $100, 1,000, those are always going to be psychologically support or resistance areas right here. $1 right here. Okay. So that's your support, right? It acted as support here as well. It was broken, but then it acted as a resistance. Then it got broken. Now it's acting as support again. And it's lining up with this 200-day moving average right here, right? Make it bigger so we can see it better. All right, this is your 200-day moving average, as well as your horizontal dollar level support. Right now the price is at $1.16, but I will place my buy limit order right around dollar, or around dollar, maybe some at 105, maybe some at dollar, maybe some at 0.95, right? And scale into that position if the price dips back here. Maybe I won't get lucky anymore and the price just goes back straight up. Fair enough. But maybe I'll do get lucky and get a really optimal entry point as well. And the upside from here is, I think, is the price is very likely to revisit $1.40. It doesn't look like much from this chart, but it's pretty decent upside from $1 to $1.40. That's 40 cents. Maybe I won't be as greedy. Maybe I'll call it $1.30. That's still 30%. So, with that level of upside, where is my downside? My downside, I'd say probably I'd place the stop limit at around 88 cents. Just below the prior swing low. I mean, I could go as low as here, but that would be like a 20% downside here. I want to kind of usually keep my downside at about 10% per trade. So if I put it at 88 cents and I average in at $1, that would be about 12% downside. Okay, so that would be my stop loss right here, right? Because that's where the price, again, found support around this level. Right, so that would be my stop loss. All right, so that's the approach that I would take in finding some good candidates for buying the dip or pullback in uptrend situations. Again, paying attention to the fact that we want to look at assets that are in an uptrend, right? That are not overbought with the RSI below 70. You can also find those situations under the technical analysis. This is 50 alts or altcoins that we analyze and provide basically ready to go trade signals or trade setups. Let's take a look at Doge, since I mentioned it, I think, in my opening remarks. So, Doge, again, it got way overbought with RSI at 85 or so. So it's pulled back. Now I would love to buy it back here at between 20 and 22 cents. So 20 is the horizontal support, 22 cents is the 200-day moving average. So somewhere in that zone is my ideal buying zone. Again, maybe I'll miss it, maybe it won't get there. Let's take a look. It's trading down. This is the live chart. It's trading down a bit today. It's still at 23 cents. It's not quite, I want to get it below this 200-day moving average, below the 22 cents level. It got there pretty close yesterday. The low was 22 cents, but not quite. So that's how I would sort of play this trade setup. So that's from the technical analysis area. By the way, also you can find this strategy explained in further detail in the trading course in lesson 3, pullback in uptrend. And one of those tutorial videos is actually a video on how to identify support and resistance level. It's about 4 minutes, certainly worth your time. Great learning tool with notes as well as quizzes. So do leverage it and do take advantage of it as well. All right, everyone. Well, hope this has been helpful. Keep in mind that this video is not meant to be for financial advice, meant to be for information only, and please do your own research. And good luck trading.